Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Revival of America podcast. This is Jenny. I'm the owner and the host of the Revival of America. Today we have Dallas in the house, everybody. So please, if you have a question for Dallas, feel free to raise your hand. I will unmute your mic at some point in this podcast. Or if you can't speak, there is his picture on the wall. You can write your question underneath the comment box there on the wall as well. And everybody, today, we have today. And then 2 weeks from today will be his last Wednesday that we do it every 2 weeks. We're going to find out when, because he starts his new job, as everybody remembers, he had told us about that last time. But we will find a day and a time that works with him, that he can come on. And, it may still be every 2 weeks, but it just may not be Wednesday during the middle of the day because obviously he has to work. So just prepare for that, everybody. But we will figure it out. I will talk to Dallas after this show today, and hopefully we can get some more clarification on that. Also, to everybody, be careful who you listen to, who you follow, what you're putting in your mind. It's not just a saying, everybody, it is a thing. So please, I can't tell you enough to really be careful. It's wackadoodle out there, and it's just going to get more crazy out there. So also come back later today over on my X space at 3:30 p.m. What is it? 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I've got to get these time zones correct. Josh Reed and I, we're gonna go over a little bit more about a lot of these narratives, bullshit narratives people are putting out there, such as Trump is compromised. He is Bibi's puppet and all this stuff. We're gonna put a lot of that stuff to rest because that's one of the narratives that's really being honed in on out there and put out there. So don't believe that BS. It is just that BS. Because remember, everybody, we are at war. The art of war is playing out right underneath our noses. And you gotta appear weak when you're strong, and then you never interfere with your enemy when they already are destroying themselves. So it's very strategic, everybody. What Trump does, he's always 100 steps ahead of everybody, and it's really brilliant what he's doing. So be careful who you're listening to when you're hearing shit like that. Also, too, we're being listened to over 100 countries, everybody. So if you come into this podcast late or you want to share it with somebody, please feel free to go follow the podcast hosts, which are iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Apple, Google, Breaker, POCKETCAST, PODBEAN, Riverside, Amazon Music. Social medias are Jenny Jareed Facebook, at Jenny_Jareed X, at JJareed Rumble, at JJareed True Social, at JJareed Instagram, the Revival of America right here on Telegram. And then I'm finally out of timeout over on YouTube. So that is the Revival of America over on YouTube. I am putting my shows up there as well. Also, check out the website, therevivalofamerica.com. Fill out the newsletter. It is free. You'll get the updates on the new podcast that we do, also the weekly show lineup. And again, that's the revivalofamerica.com. If you have a story or a journey to tell everybody, please go submit your story, a little synopsis of it to the submission email, which is troasubmissions@yahoo.com. Give me a little synopsis of what it is. We do vet these stories because unfortunately we do have the shysters out there trying to get on a podcast, try to be relevant, and just make up some kind of BS story. So we do vet them. And once we feel like it's a legit story, we will reach out to you via email and get you scheduled on the show. Give me some time, everybody, because I do myself, as many of you know, have a day gig, and that is precedent to the podcast. So I'm doing my best to get back to you as quickly as I can because I do have other emails from just the podcast that I get a lot of on a daily basis, still trying to play catch up with. So if you do have a personal email you want to send me, send that over to the Revival of America at yahoo.com. And I will, whether you're trying to get in touch with John Baxter, go to his facilities, I'll get you connected with them. Fields Books, whatever, Brain IQ with Rick. Carrie Kasem, whatever it is, they've all got pages over on the website as well, but I will email you back with whatever your question may be. So with that, everybody, just again, I can't stress enough, please be careful who you follow, and come over to my X Spaces for Josh at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then Silk will be on later at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So with that, everybody, Dallas is in the house, and I want to be able to give him the full 90 minutes that he typically gives us. So I want to welcome Mr. Dallas. How are you, Dallas?
I'm good. I'm good.
So what's
You're so
going on
good
with
at that.
you?
Just kind of rolling through life, trying to do the right thing, be a good husband, be a good father, be a good person. But
well, I'm sure you're doing fine in that area. So let's talk about that real quickly because I know you're starting your job here soon. So do you have any ideas maybe of what you might be looking at and to continue and doing podcasts here or really anywhere that you're doing them? Oh, can you hear? Where'd you go? Can't hear you, Dallas. Woohoo! Hello, hello. Try again, Dallas. Can't hear you. You may have to go out and come back in, my friend. All right, everybody, we'll wait for Dallas to come back in. But again, like I said, if you guys have questions for Dallas, feel free to start raising your hands and I will unmute your mic at some point and you can ask your question to Dallas. I highly encourage you guys to do it because like I said, we don't know if he'll be every 2 weeks still. We definitely know it won't be during the day, middle of the day, but we'll get some answers. Here he is. He's right back. Go ahead, Dallas.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. How weird. Yeah, so in a perfect world, something changes between now and the 27th. I mean, that's the date of the slated date of my return to full-time work, which is it's gonna suck. I mean, it's gonna be Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 in office. In a town called Westlake. It's about in all reality, it's like 12 miles from my house, but it's about a 40-minute drive because there's not an easy way to get there. But once that happens, it's really just I've got to just reset everything, right? Because it's going to impact my, how we get my daughters from school. How we get them to school, practices, games, and stuff like that. So I really don't have a good plan. I don't have any plan yet, but I definitely want to continue to do this show for sure. I love the show that I do with Trina on the Hero Network Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. It's just, it's just fun. Trina's my friend. We have fun. We laugh a lot on that show. But and I love PPN, I mean, we've had some really good momentum with PPN here recently as Alex, has had to change his schedule because of work. But it's kind of gone back to me and Chad's. So I don't know. I don't have an answer with you or for you other than I want to continue it. It just might have to be something we do. Luckily you're in your time zone is behind me. So it might be something that we do at like 9 or 10 p.m. Central. It just kind of based on your schedule and what's available. But I definitely want to continue. We just got to figure it out. I got to get there. But I'm really, 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 really hoping and praying that God answers some of these prayers, some of my prayers between now and then, because I'm hearing exceptionally positive news and very, very positive timing. So much like Mark Z, I mean, I've been hearing that bondholders should have had liquid money today, and what I mean by liquid is money that they could physically take out, hold in their hands, go to whatever, not McDonald's, but go to the steakhouse and buy a nice steak with their new money, right? So, but I haven't been able to confirm that because it's not here, right? It's other parts of the world, but very, very optimistic. I don't know if the RV is going to hit here for the general public that soon, but it's got to come, right? I mean, they're very closely tied together. So my hope and my dream is that I don't go back to work full time, because I go back to work full time for God is what I really hope.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Did you cut out or did you start talking? I don't know. Are you say
No,
something else?
I stopped talking.
Okay. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we will definitely do if it's a Wednesday evening and that works out, because I know the time changes in the beginning of November, and then you'll be only an hour ahead of me instead of two. So, yeah, we definitely can figure that out because you're a voice definitely in this movement, and I think it's important that you still somehow, some way, we still keep you around doing what you're doing, whether it still be every 2 weeks, once a month, however we do it, but we will definitely figure it out because you're definitely a voice that people want to continue to hear, and you need to stick around. I'm just saying. So let me ask you this. I don't know if you saw it or not, and I can send it to you. But this is one of the things I want to warn the audience as well. Over on the Telegram page, the press secretary, Caroline Levitt. I don't know
Oh yeah.
100%. I don't know 100% if that is her page. Although on her X page, she said it was her page. So what I am seeing here, and I'm gonna try to send this to you, Dallas. But it says President Trump confirms Nassar Jassar ETF approval. Okay. To me, the words, it looks like he's saying the words, but it looks to me like it's still altered in AI. Because then when you go down here to the bottom of this post, it says and to me when I see this, it's a red flag, right? It says the Nassar Jassar gold back real coins are set to control the financial world. Get your 10 coins today with a link. So I want to warn people. For me, I see this as a red flag because I'm looking at the lips and everything. It looks generated. It does look as if maybe he is saying some of these things, but you can kind of see it is a little off. So have you heard anything to this effect of him saying this? I'm going to send it to you right now via text if I can. And then,
Okay.
but I want to know your thoughts on it. If you've
No,
heard
no,
any of that.
yeah, no, I haven't heard this specifically. I mean, what was shared with me weeks ago was that this whole thing is waiting on political announcements and primarily Trump, right, to announce the gold-backed, asset-backed currency for the United States, and that, we're going asset-backed. We have a new USN. I mean, I've been being told that for weeks now, that Iraq is ready, Vietnam is ready. I mean, that's the big thing that's kind of been happening over the last 12 to 24 hours is Vietnam went privately or quietly in the dark of the night. I can't verify that. I don't have anybody that's willing to say, yes, that happened 100%. Do I think it's possible? Absolutely, sure, right? But Iraq is done, Vietnam is done, Zimbabwe is done. I mean, they're all done and ready to go. They're just, to my understanding, the whole world is waiting on Trump to. And I was a little harsh on Trump earlier today on the show, and I tried to accentuate the point. I'm not anti-Trump. I'm not against Trump. I'm just like, this is the moment in time where he gets to step up and bring all of this stuff into reality, and Congress can't do a damn thing about it, right? Like, what's changed from
Exactly.
the last time we talked to today is the freaking government has shut down. And Trump has almost, I mean, it's not completely unchecked, right? There are checks and balances built into the Constitution for this exact moment in time, but he has the ability to put us back on the gold standard. He has the ability to announce that the Federal Reserve is not federal nor reserve and has nothing to do with us. They announced the other day that they're naming a CEO of the IRS. Well, how in God's name do you name a CEO to a government entity, right? You can only announce a CEO to a private business, a private entity, right? I mean, that's chief operating officer or chief executive officer or whatever, CEO, executive officer. That's a private corporation. He has the ability to do away with the IRS, do away with the Federal Reserve, put us on the gold standard, and shave the government by 80%. Like, he has the ability right now. and Congress can't do a damn thing about it. They do have to come back and ratify it, right? So that's part of the checks and balances, but it also allows him to get rid of all of the scumbags, right? Comey today walks in, not guilty, walks out. And he's being charged with felonies, right? The War Room. I had his name earlier. Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon was charged with misdemeanors, and he was handcuffed and perp walked, from his home into the building and fingerprinted and all that stuff and forced. I mean, he was sent to jail for misdemeanors. Comey is being charged with felonies, and he gets to walk in free and walk out free. But anyway, I digress on my rant, but
it's okay.
This is the moment in time that we have been waiting for, and it was alluded to me that today might be that day. So I guess I can't deny it 100%, but to your point, anytime they are, and I've said this here, and I've been pretty blunt, but anytime anybody tells you something and then follows it up with selling something or giving something away that's going to, like every time that happens, I just say, not for me, right? So the fact that they're pushing these coins tells me it's probably not legit, but at the same time, I mean, Trump put out a MedBed video and then took it down. Like, he posted it. So that tells me that he did that on purpose, right? So I don't know. I think we just got to keep our eye on it, because I was expecting an announcement today about the gold-backed standard or the gold-backed, asset-backed currency. So maybe that is how he did it. I don't know, but we should be able to figure it out pretty darn quick, right?
Well, I think for me is like, so when I click on this gold thingy, it's when it's selling something like that. To me, yeah, it's selling something. So to me, this is a red flag, everybody. So if you see this, just hang tight on it, because we know a lot of these things out there are scams. A lot of them are sorry. A lot of them, was that you, Dallas?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was like, wait a minute. A lot of them are scams, and when the Trump coins came out a long time ago. So just hold tight on this, guys, everybody, if you see it, because it is going around. So just be careful. I just wanted to kind of address that, because like I said, when you look at the video, you can kind of see that his lips are moving a little bit with what he's saying. But if you get in a little bit closer, it kind of does look a little manipulated. And we know with AI, everybody, you can do a lot of stuff with it. So just be careful, everybody. I would sit on it for a little bit. Yes. So anyway, so yeah, I wanted to ask you that. So what else? Okay, so you were hoping for an announcement, and yes, I do believe the whole MedBed thing was on purpose. See, where he put that up, I do believe he was speaking to us and speaking to a lot of people. Yeah, that was he put it up there. That was a thing, and then the next day he put something else up about how our bodies really truly can heal themselves, and can't remember what it was about, but it was basically how our bodies could heal themselves, right? So I think he's just trying to pave the way and kind of prepare people for what is to come when it comes to our new world, when it comes to pharmaceuticals and medical, because we know all that's going to be a thing of the past, right? So we're going to have new ways of healing and therapeutics, remedies, all these patents that are going to be released. So I do truly believe that Trump is trying to get the people that aren't prepared for what is potentially coming, or what is coming. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, and somebody just sent me a message on the Telegram. This is a long weekend, right? I mean, my girls get out of school tomorrow. All the other schools in Dallas are out all next week, right? My girls are out Thursday, Friday, and Monday. So 5 days, but just kind of broken up over the weekend. It is a long weekend. It's a bank holiday. All the other schools are out all next week, right? So so lots of it is. I really believe, and I don't I don't want to be, even though I am a broken record, right? I've said very, very, very similar things multiple times. I believe this is like the perfect storm of opportunities for all of this stuff that we have been praying for and dreaming of and planning for and hoping for, both financially, with our government, with, you know, with everything, right? I mean, this all the other times, right? I mean, how many times has the government been threatened to be shut down in the last 10 years? Like, I mean, like literally dozens of times, right? And it actually happened. And the fact that they're only two people short, right? Like, do you imagine, or do you understand how narrow this is? It's 2 votes between, you know, government open, you know, going on status quo, same old, and where we are right now, where we find ourselves right now. And Speaker Johnson did a press conference today. He's done one every day this week, right? But he did one today, and he's just talking about how these cities, the Democrats are arguing about these specific topics, but yet their states and their cities that they represent are the ones that are suffering the most, but yet they're standing firm on these ridiculous, you know, $3 million for vasectomies and whatever in Uganda, and baking and dance classes for male prostitutes in Ukraine or wherever that was. Like, you know, millions and millions of dollars. That's what the Democrats theoretically, or at least that's the narrative that's being put out there, is that these Democrats are purposely shutting our government down because we, as a country, we no longer want to give hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars to foreign countries for ridiculous, just asinine things. But they only need 2, right? And Speaker Johnson went through and said, this state has 2 representatives that could open the government, but they're not. This state has 2 representatives that could open the government, but they're not. Like, the fact that it's so narrow, but yet we're still shut down, right? We're a weekend. This is 7 full days of a shutdown going into the weekend. And wouldn't it be just amazing if all of this comes to fruition? I'm not making that claim because I don't know that to be a fact, right? I don't know that to be true, but I have been told that bond money is supposed to be moving today. I have been told that Trump is supposed to make an announcement, and we're going to go back, you know, he's going to reinstitute the gold standard. Well, when that happens, that is the kickoff, right? I mean, that is the launch of NESARA and JERREAD. I don't believe it's going to be called that. I think it's going to be called something else. But there are, to my knowledge, there's like 210 programs associated with NESARA. That's how they're going to repatriate all the money, you know, that has been confiscated from all these tech billionaires and global elites that own all the land and own all the money and have, you know, own all BlackRock and Vanguard. They're going to repatriate that money to we the people through these different programs, or that's what they're going to refer to them as programs. But the Doge checks, the tariff rebates, or what is he called? Tariff. What's it called? Dividends, right? To my understanding, the way it's explained to me is that those are all NESARA programs where money is going to come back to us. This would be a great weekend for that to happen, right? Next week, most schools, most kids are going to be out of school at least part of next week because of Columbus Day. The banks are going to be closed. I'm reading daily on reports of Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Fifth Thirds or Third Fifths or whatever that bank's called, closing for a 24-hour period sometime in the coming weeks. But we're not ever told why. But they've all made public announcements that that's going to happen. Like, how crazy would it be if if they were closed on Monday, right, and reopen on Tuesday to a new world, right?
Well, I was just going to say that isn't Monday Columbus Day?
It is. Yeah,
Yeah, so
that's
that, and
the 3 day.
they normally close on that day, right?
Yes.
Well, there you go. So I don't know. I mean, this is your wheelhouse. I'm just a spectator.
Well, I'm not, again, I'm not making that claim. I'm just saying, like, the timing couldn't be better, right? I mean, Trump literally has the ability to make all of this happen, and there are very few, if any, roadblocks, right? I mean, why did they call the 800 generals together with Hegseth and Trump? Why did Trump refer to himself as the 45th, 46th, and 47th president, but he doesn't want to take credit for the 46th because that was a pretty
Because
crappy
he
one, right?
never left us. He never
I know,
left.
but he said that in front of all of those generals, and that was the part that was like that was distributed all around the world for him, for everybody to hear him say that. Why would he say that, right? I mean, so I believe disclosure is happening. I am an incredibly impatient person, and I am not very good with subtleties. I've told stories and I made jokes about the fact that I don't do very well with subtleties. Right? I'm a very straightforward, blunt. This is what I mean. This is what I say, or this is what you mean, and this is what you say. Because if you allude to me, I'm probably going to miss it. Right? So this is a chance for, in my opinion, and that's what this, everything I've said is in my opinion. This is a perfect, pun intended, golden opportunity for Trump to unleash all this stuff. And why are the National Guards in all these major cities? Because like they talk about Chicago, but I know for a fact the National Guard is in Nashville, Memphis, Tennessee. I know for a fact that National Guard are in Dallas and Houston. I know that they're in Los Angeles. I know that they're in all of these major cities all around the world. They've already been deployed. Well, why? Right? I mean, because when these announcements happen, George Soros, right? Antifa or BLM, right? They have this huge class action lawsuit against George Soros because he stopped paying them. Well, I've been claiming that for 5 years, or whatever. Whenever BLM was launched, I was like, man, you guys understand that this is all paid for by rich white guys, right? Soros being the primary one, but so it's all out there, right? The med beds. Why did Trump say? And again, just connecting the dots. Why did Trump say after he released that medbed video and then took it down, the next day at a press conference, he talked about AI helping cure and eradicate childhood cancer? Well, those two things are not mutually exclusive. Those two things are linked together. I'm not a huge fan of AI because, well, one, I'm just not technically savvy, but I'm not a fan of robots having emotions, right? And having the ability to get angry or to get sad, which is what they're doing right now. But I absolutely 100% believe that good modern AI is connected to the med beds, right? And that allows them to diagnose us in record time and things like that. So I think there's been a lot of disclosure. I'm not good at subtleties.
I do believe with this shutdown, we're talking about the shutdown. I do believe the shutdown's going to last longer than a week, because now the Democrats are saying that they're absolutely not going to reopen unless they give the illegals the free medical, right? And then
Right.
you have it now coming out that the IRS is furloughing nearly half of the workforce. Well, we know the IRS has not really been the IRS for a long time, right? So yeah, I do believe the shutdown is going to last longer than what people are probably hoping. Or, I mean, we wanted to shut down for a while, right? I mean, even Trump's coming out saying with his own money, he's going to help those people that are on the WIC programs or whatever to help them through the courses. I guess maybe give some of his money or something like that. So yeah, I mean, I think this thing's it's gonna go on for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that, somebody said the other day 40 days and 40 nights. I don't, I mean, holy guacamole, right? If it goes 40 days, gee willikers, right? But I don't think they have a long time, but I think 2 weeks, right? A whole nother week. And you think about that, right? What's a week from today? It's next Wednesday, after the long holiday, after, the bank shut down. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm saying, from my perspective, this is a perfect opportunity for all of these things to happen. They're furloughing 70,000 IRS agents. I literally got what day? Monday. I checked the mail before I left to go to Bible study, and my wife and I each individually got letters from the IRS saying that this is our final warning. They're going to start garnering our wages or seizing our property and get this, for $1,500 that they say we owe from 2022. Right? That was the last time we filed taxes. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that out loud, but the last time we filed, they're going to seize our property over $1,500 that they claim we owe. You know what I mean? I got the letters on Monday, and so what do you do with that, right? I mean, I'm just going to hold tight for a little bit longer, because I mean, they can seize my money because there ain't nothing in my account. That is for sure. I do want to give a shout out to one of our listeners who came to Essential Church where Jay and I preach every Sunday, and gave me a gift, and it absolutely 100% covered what I was outstanding, because I had a bill that was due for my family, and there was no way I was going to be able to pay for it. And so I want to thank that individual immensely, because it was unrequested and unwarranted, but so much received and blessed and appreciated. But the IRS is shutting down. All the. It's just a perfect storm. It's a perfect opportunity. And man, I am excited, but as I get excited, I get anxious, right? And I'm like, all right, today, right now, like right now, nope. Okay, next hour, nope. So I'm trying to keep my own emotions in check, which I'm not very good at. But thank God, I'm incredibly busy. So this weekend, man. So one more
real quickly, Dallas, before you go on that, I want to real quickly correct myself. So I was talking to you guys about the WIC program for the people that are on the WIC program. It's actually the Trump administration is going to use some of the tariff revenue to help funding of the nutritional program. So not his personal money, which I spoke on a second ago. It's actually the tariff revenue. So go ahead. Yeah, no, 100%. I was going to correct it, but at the same time, I mean, let's be honest, it's kind of really still his money. Well, we're on the same page at least, right?
Yeah. I do have an awesome praise report. So I shared last time that my wrestling ministry, Ephesians Pro Wrestling, we got we call it a TV deal, right? Because we are airing on TV now, but it's really a Christian streaming app, service. But it's worldwide. It's the fastest growing Christian streaming service in the world, called Abundant TV. You can download it on your phones. You can download it on your smart TVs. Just go to the app stores and search Abundant TV. But we had our debut episode this last Saturday, and we had over 67,000 people tune in to watch our debuting episode this Saturday, and by now we're well over 100,000 views. We are the largest debuting show ever on the platform, which is about three and a half years old, and we are the most viewed show period across the platform of all of their shows and all their different things that they broadcast. And I just wanted to give a huge shout out and encourage everybody to go every Saturday at 5 Central, so 6 Eastern, whatever time that is, Western, West Coast time, I'm not very good at that. I think 3, but 5 Central, 6 Eastern. You can watch my wrestling ministry, and it was pretty cool. I mean, our debut episode was kind of a documentary. It was kind of like the history of who we are, what we are, why we do what we do. But 67,000 people around the world watched the debut, and that was pretty cool. So I wanted to give a praise report and a shout out to that. And thanks to anybody that watched it. And if you haven't, please download the app and go watch it, because
what's the app called again?
Cool.
Abundant what?
It's Abundant TV.
Abundant TV. Okay, cool. All right, Abundant TV. Everybody heard that? So download it. You can check out his ministry. All right, everybody. So if you want to talk some more on anything and touch on anything before we go into questions, Dallas, or you just want to go straight into questions?
No, I mean I've blabbered long enough. Let's go into questions.
No, we love hearing you blabber. You don't blabber. All right, everybody. If you have questions for Dallas, please feel free to raise your hand. I will unmute your mic. So go ahead, Tennessee Trash.
Hello, have you got me?
We
Yes,
can
sir.
hear you.
You know, we talked about this before, Dallas, that I started this adventure about 2 years ago. And we need to remember that we fight not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers in our realms. This Monday, I went to the hospital with AFib. While I was there, they found out I had a diabetic ulcer on my foot. And I just hope that I live long enough maybe to see a med bed. But perspective is that I pray that I do God's will with what money I'm blessed with. And I would love for Dallas, for you to pray for me.
Absolutely.
And remember to tell Jay. And I thank y'all for everything you do.
Yes. Let's I'll pray right now. That is our core verse, right? Ephesians 6:12 through 18, 12 through 19. That's why my ministry is called Ephesians Pro Wrestling. Is that verse specifically. But you're right. And the cool thing about med beds is I believe that med beds, there's some people that are like, med beds are evil and they're from, the dark aliens, which are the fallen angels. And I don't subscribe to that. I think there could have been, right? I mean, there could have been, there's good and bad in everything, right? There's light and dark in everything that happens. But I also know that, Jesus Christ healed all, right? He didn't heal some, he healed all that came to him. And that power still exists today. Let me pray for you real fast, and we'll go on to the next one. Lord, I thank you for this day. I thank you for this moment. And Lord, you are Jehovah Rapha. You're Jehovah Jireh. You're the provider. You're the holy physician, and you healed all infirmities. You healed. You made the blind to see, and the mute to speak, and the deaf to hear, and the lame to walk. You rose the dead. You told Lazarus, come forth. And Lazarus rose from the grave and walked out and lived many, many years after that moment. And Lord, I lift up my brother to you right now, Lord, and I pray that you would supernaturally reach down and touch his body, and through the power and the blood of Jesus Christ, you would heal him, and you would heal him as if he had laid in a med bed, but even greater, because you can heal him completely. But I also pray that you would continue to work in his heart and his mind and his soul, and that every day he would seek to become more like you, Jesus Christ, and more Christ-like and more benevolent and more giving. And as this blessing does come, and this ability to heal ourselves come, that you would speed that up in this particular case, and anybody else out there that is hurting physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. Today is a day of salvation, And today is the day of healing. And I just pray healing, restoration, forgiveness, and blessings to all, but especially my brother, as we pray right now. In the name above all names, Jesus Christ. Amen.
We thank
Amen.
you so much. And
God bless
I
you.
pray for y'all all the time.
Thank
God
you.
bless you, Tennessee Trash. We love you, and we'll keep you in our prayers. And you're
All
always
right.
welcome here, my friend.
Thank you very much. We'll let you go. Bye.
God bless. All right. Let's see. Got a couple questions here. Will the okay, this is from Red Hat. Will the Boulevard be the same rate for digitals and sombrero? Thank you.
To my knowledge, yes. I've shared multiple times, but I was told that there is no adding, subtracting, zero. There's not one rate for this particular denomination or this year or this variation, that they were going to do a fixed rate across the board. And that includes the digitales, right? Is it going to be 3 to 5? I don't know. I mean, that's what I was told, but I don't know that to be a fact. But as I've also stated many times, what if it's only 20 cents? What if it's only 10 cents? That is a huge, huge blessing, because most of us, and I realize that there could always be exceptions, but most people didn't buy one Sabanero or one Digitale, because the Digitales back in the day were like $4 or $5, right? Or maybe 10 at the most. So you didn't buy one, you bought 10, or, you bought whatever, right? Especially the Sabaneros, right? At one point, they were 49 cents a piece on Banknote World, right? You didn't buy one, you bought 200, cost you $10, right? Or whatever, $20. So I believe it's going to be a fixed rate, and it's going to be across the board. That's what I believe. But I am perfectly willing to accept any variation and any alteration when I go in, because anything is going to be better than nothing.
Amen to that. Thank you, Dallas. All right, here's one. Go North to Dakota. Question. James Comey trial publicly set for January 5th, 2026. Do you believe the currency exchange for the internet group will still happen in October? Thank you, Dallas and Jenny. Enjoy listening to you guys. I will tune in no matter the day and time to listen to you guys. Thank you.
Oh. When I read that today also, I think it's garbage. I don't think we get that deep, right? I don't think we get that far down the road. But maybe it does, right? I mean, maybe this disclosure and all these people, because what, Hillary Clinton is supposed to be deposed tomorrow, and then Bill Clinton the day after. Maybe they line all these people up and just, have the trials all at one time. That would be an easy way to film them, right, or broadcast them. But I don't know. I don't have a good answer to that. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I appreciate that. Better no answer than trying to make it up, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right, everybody, if you guys have a question for Dallas, please feel free to raise your hand. This is really odd. I don't have any hands raised or questions. There's one on here. It says, how much for the Zim? Do you know that question?
I mean, yes, I have two answers. One people don't like, but forever and ever and ever we heard, somewhere between 11 cents and 33 cents, which is like 11 million to 33 million, up to 50 or 70 million per 100 trillion. I was told by a different group, different organization, that it could be substantially less, in the hundreds of thousands per 100 T. But again, that's still an enormous return, right? Because when I bought them way back in the day, I bought them for somewhere between 150 and 250 each, because I bought a couple different groups, bundles. But if we get, let's say we get 1 million, right? We only get 1 million. Well, if I paid $250 and I get 1 million back, that's a huge, huge return, right? Is it what we were promised? No, but again, when have any of us ever had $1 million sitting in our bank account? The vast majority of us, the answer is never. And the other answer is probably we never will, right? In our current state. So I just encourage people to be grateful and be thankful for whatever we get. Do I believe it's a lower amount? Not necessarily, because again, I have documentation from IMF from 2013 that states that Zimbabwe has 125,000 times the in-ground assets of the United States. And the United States has a lot of in-ground assets: oil, gold, silver, palladium, titanium. I mean, we have all kinds of stuff, diamonds, we have all kinds of assets in the ground. And Zimbabwe, according to the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, has 125,000 times more. So I think it's going to be a good return. I mean, it's going to be a great number. I just don't know exactly what it is until we get there, right? But I'm 100% confident that the Zim notes are a part of this, and that they're going to bring great wealth. I mean, again, there are people out there. I heard it last night, 1-to-1 on the Zims. That's mathematically impossible. That's not a reality in this world. But it's going to be it's going to be a good return on it. So we got to be patient, wait and see. And as soon as I know something concrete, I'll figure out a way to share it. Right. I mean, if I gotta fly to Jenny's house and write notes so she can say it, or whatever, right? I'll figure out a way to share the information. But I think we just have to be humble, and we have to be appreciative, because again, I have never had $1 million in my account at one time. Have I made $1 million over my life? Sure, but I've never had $1 million just hanging out, right? And if I have $1 million in my account, I can invest that, especially with all these new technologies and all these new companies that are going to come out. Can you imagine investing in med companies as they go all around the world? There are cures for cancer that have existed since before World War II, for sure. What happens if you invest in a company that releases that to the public at an affordable rate, and the whole world gets access to that? Like, you could quadruple your money in months, if not years. So you could turn $1 million into $5 million pretty darn quick, right? So we just got to be patient. I don't know what the right answer is, because I've been told very different answers, but that's why I'm just going to be patient and wait.
There's that favorite word everybody loves: patience, everybody. Patience. I say it all the time. Okay, so here's a couple more. Juan, okay, go north to Dakota again. Juan has talked about a big scare event happening to wake more people up. Do you think this RHSR can happen without this scare event? Thanks again.
I absolutely think it can happen. I mean, I've always questioned why the scare event, right? Because, and I've always said that if there is a scare event, it's not meant for us, right? We're already awake, right?
Exactly.
But what we do know about false flags is that real people die, right? 9/11, thousands of Americans were sacrificed to stop this from happening in 2001. People die in scare events and false flags. And my question is, from the white hat perspective, why would that be a necessary evil, right? I mean, why would you voluntarily sacrifice one life, let alone thousands or 10,000 hardworking, red-blooded Americans, just to wake them up, right? Wake them up a different way. There's got to be a way you can do it, in my opinion. There's got to be a way it can be done without sacrificing the lives of hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of people. So I for one, I don't subscribe to that methodology, because it doesn't resonate with who I am. If there was an alternative way to do something, I would figure out an alternative way, right? I would make it happen. But Charlie Kirk, right? Again, no interest in debating whether he's alive or he's dead or is whatever, right? But all I know is the narrative is not the narrative is garbage. That I think everybody can agree on that's even remotely thought or watched or put any kind of energy into what happened. But you know what it did is that singular life possibly that was taken has absolutely transformed this entire world almost overnight. There are thousands and thousands of people that are coming to know Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior around the world, and not just in the United States. Church attendance over the last 3 weeks since Charlie Kirk's assassination has almost doubled, and Bibles are being bought for the first time in most cases at record numbers. So can it be used? Absolutely, but I would hope that there would be a better way to do it. But is it possible? 100%, right? Because there are still a lot of really, I call them dumb, but asleep people, right? I go back to the Tylenol thing, right? Trump and RFK come out and say Tylenol has been directly linked to rising cases of autism around the world, specifically in the United States. And all these goofy people, pregnant moms, go out and take handfuls of Tylenol. Well, guess what? That kills you, but it's a very slow, agonizing, painful death. And it's been that way since Tylenol was invented, right? So there are some really, really stupid people out there that I don't know if a scary event would wake them up. So I don't know. It's kind of a non-answer, but it is an answer. I don't think the scare event is needed, because there's got to be a better way. And the other reality from my perspective is you can show them all the proof and all the evidence, and you can let them touch it, right? I mean, you can say, hey, here it is. Come read it. Come touch it. Feel it. Smell it. Taste it if you want to. This is the proof. And people are still going to walk away and go, no, Trump's bad. All right?
And those are the unfortunate, those are the 4 to 6% of the people that literally will not make it, because they just, nothing you say or do or what they see is just not calculating.
100%. So I don't think there's a need for a false flag or a scare event, because I don't think it wouldn't do what they wanted to do, right? Or what they think it's going to do. So just don't do it, right? Just come out and tell people. And if they believe, great. If they don't believe, well, that's their bad, right?
Amen. Thank you, Dallas. Okay, Mel B777. Go ahead. Your mic's unmuted.
My question is, for the RV, some people are saying to go to banks and start asking if they cash in foreign currencies, if you can cash in foreign currencies there. Do you think that it's wise to open multiple accounts at different banks right now, or do you think it would be better just to wait?
I personally I'm just waiting, right? I mean, there seems to be two very divided camps right now on redemption centers. You know, there are those that say there's no such thing as redemption centers.
I'm taking a break. I've been standing on my.
Oh, hang on a second, Agent 99. Go ahead, Dallas.
Sorry. There's one camp that say there's no redemption centers. You just go to your bank. And then there's other camp that says there are. I have had conversations with people that tell me that they have direct access and direct knowledge and have been in the redemption centers, right? Could they have been totally lying to me? Oh, sure, right? 100%, because I've never met them. I've just had conversations with them over the phone or whatever. But that's kind of a weird specific lie to tell somebody, right? I believe redemption centers exist. Do I think you could go into a bank and do it? Sure. But I think there will be different rates. But again, until it physically happens and I or somebody that I know personally directly has the ability to go in and do anything with their currency, I'm just reserving the right to not choose or not to make any rash decisions. I read a story today about a lady or I think it was a lady, I don't know, a person in Illinois that went in and talked to her Chase Bank, and the lady was like, "Yep, nope, yeah, we'll get you set up, we'll get your high net worth account opened, and it's gonna happen, imminently." Right? Hold on one second.
Don't open the garage.
Okay. Sorry, my my daughter has had this thing the last several days where she likes walking home. So I go pick her up because the school's about, I don't know, school's about a mile and a half from our house. But I get halfway home and then I let her walk, and then I drive really slow and let her walk. But she wants to open the garage today. So, but I believe there are redemption centers, but I've also been told by a group that I'm associated with that there aren't, right? Like, okay, well, when I know exactly what's happening and how it's working, I promise you, I'm going to figure out a way to disclose it, right? Because I'm pretty sure that if nothing else, I'm going to be forced to sign an NDA. But I've signed NDAs before. NDAs are what people don't understand about NDAs is NDAs are really specific, right? You can talk about this, and this, but you can't mention this and this. Or you can't talk about this, and this, but you can mention this or this. So I will read my NDA and I will figure out a way to communicate the information and get it disseminated. And if it has to, and if it's a completely different process than anything that we've been, come to believe to be true, well, then I'm going to make sure that gets disseminated. And I'm already working on that, right? If that's the case, there is a way that I will be able to share that information publicly, and I will. But I don't know if it's worth your time and energy to go to all these different banks, and I definitely wouldn't open up accounts at multiple banks. I would just, if there's one that says absolutely we know it's coming, then I would open up that account. But I wouldn't waste a lot of energy and money doing it.
My qualms about going to different banks is all these banks are going to know that you have a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? And do you want to have all these people know that you have all this money right now? I don't know. I mean, in the future, you'll have it in the future, but
right.
Still, it's like they know that you're going to have money, And so I'm kind of like reluctant to do that because I don't want a whole bunch of people knowing that I have thus and such money in my home. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'll answer your question this way. I have only had limited conversations with people in banks, and most of the time I get the answer that everybody else gets. Oh, that's a scam, or no, I don't know anything about it. And I just say, okay. I've never told anybody how much I have or what I have. I might say, man, I've heard about dinar and dong, right? Do you know anything about that? Oh, yeah, that's a scam, right? I have not done any of that. I know people that have. I know several people in Oklahoma specifically that have opened up what are called high net worth accounts. The kicker is, in order to open those accounts at these banks, you're supposed to, like, you're required to maintain at least $250,000 in those accounts. Well, guess what happens if you don't? They start penalizing you. So why would I go open it? I mean, I get penalized on my checking accounts because I don't keep $500 in them. So I get charged a $10 service fee. The problem is I have 9 accounts, right? Now I don't get charged $10 in every account, but I have 2 of them that I get charged $10 a month. I'm not supposed to, because one of them specifically is a business account that, like, the whole reason I opened that account was to not have service fees, but the bank changed the rules. So I have not done that. I've been advised to do it multiple times, just like everybody else has, but I've chosen not to do it because I think it's a waste of time and energy. When that day comes, the banks are going to clamor to service us. We are not going to have to go in and beg and, like, please, sir, do you take this currency? That's not going to happen anymore. We're going to have the control. Now, that doesn't give you the right to be a jerk, right? But we are going to have the control. They're going to want our business, and they're going to seek us out. They're going to beg us to do business through their banks, and going around and pandering to them is just not anything that I'm interested in doing, if that makes sense.
Thank you, Dallas.
Totally. I'm with you there. Thank you for answering my question.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mel B.
Hey, Jenny, give me just a second. I'm going to transfer out of my car.
Okay.
The last few times it's worked. It stayed on, but I might
Yeah.
have to jump off and jump back in. So give me just 1 minute.
All right. You're good. All right, everybody. So if any of you guys have questions that you want to ask Dallas, please feel free to raise your hands, everybody. I will unmute your mics as we wait for Dallas to come back. And if you can't speak, then write them underneath the comment area underneath his picture on the wall. So Dallas, just let me know when you're back. Agent 99, as soon as Dallas comes back, you go ahead and ask your question. It's not working as good this time. Dallas, are you there? Hang tight, everybody. He'll come back here. He just popped out and he'll come back. Oh, the silence. Gotta love it. Hang in there, buddy. He should be popping back in here. While we wait for those of you that have just entered or entered a little bit ago, after Dallas, come over to my X page and we'll do an X space with Josh Reed from Red Pill TV. We're going to talk a little bit more about a lot of these BS narratives going on. And then Silk will be on my X space also at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Josh is going to be 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So go ahead, Dallas. And then Agent 99, I believe you have a question for him. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Agent 99. Do you have a question for Dallas?
I absolutely did, but it was just answered by the last caller. So thank you very
Okay.
much, both of
You're
you.
welcome.
Okay.
Go ahead, Go ahead, Grandmother of 5. Your mic's unmuted.
Hello. Dallas, I've read repeatedly on the Zim where if you do not have a project to do, where people will only be paid like 15 million for their 100 trillion Zim. But what if, you're planning on donating like to projects that are, that they've got the list of. If you're donating to those, I'm 70 years old. I've worked all my life. I'm tired of working.
Right.
Or is it still going to be just the 15 million, or with you donating to the others that are already chosen, is it going to be different?
Well, my understanding is that we're going to get a set amount for personal use, and that is irregardless of whether you have a humanitarian project or not, right? Your personal money is your personal money. Now, you can do humanitarian projects with your personal money, but it is your personal money. It's not earmarked or monitored in any way. If you have a project, then you will get more money for your projects based on the size, the scope, the validity, your ability, their perception of your ability to execute it. But if not, there's also going to be a list of pre-approved humanitarian projects, cleaning the oceans, cleaning the water, cleaning the air, helping the homeless. Like they're going to be pre-approved projects that you can then say, okay, well, I don't want to run it, but I want to support it, right? That money is completely separate from your personal money. So to my understanding and my knowledge, they're not tied together. So when you get your personal money, that's your personal money. So it's not going to change whether you have or you don't have a humanitarian project. It's going to be a fixed amount is what I believe to be true.
Well, I just didn't feel like it was, right if you were still given the money to do the projects, even though you're not heading it up, but you're still donating your money. And I didn't think that sounded right, but I keep seeing it and reading it. So I didn't know if that's the way it was or not. It didn't sound right to me. I mean, right's right, wrong's wrong. But like I said, I'm 70 years old and I'm tired of working. I'm tired.
No, I feel you.
Thank you, Grandmother of Five. Thank you, Dallas. All right, here's a question from Julie C. Dallas. Hi, Dallas. Am I correct in thinking our money will be safe on the QFS and we can leave it there with no problem? We just move it to our bank accounts as needed, correct? And will the redemption centers open new accounts for us if we want? Thank you.
Yes, I believe all of that is true. The QFS, the one caveat to the QFS is there might be a slight alteration to it. The QFS, what I've been told most recently, is that the QFS is just a blockchain tracking system. It's not really a privatized or a secure account. It's the blockchain tracking technology that allows or that guarantees that the money can't be used for nefarious things. I do I know that to be I mean, I believe the QFS is a tracking, it's a blockchain tracking mechanism, but is it not a private account or a secured account? That I don't know, right? We gotta verify that. We gotta figure that out. But you will be able to move money from if we have a QFS account, you'll be able to move it to your normal checking or crypto or whatever account you're using at that moment. Originally, we were told that it was a secure account that is, unhackable and this and that, which I still believe to be true, but I think it's more based on the blockchain piece of it, right? That if somebody were to hack into your account, they would be able to track it immediately, stop it, and return the funds, right? I have heard multiple stories over the last year and a half, 2 years, where they've been doing these tests, right? Where they send money and the money miraculously disappears, right? It registers in the account, and then all of a sudden they go to look at it or verify it, and the money's gone. Well, where'd the money go? Oh, well, it was automatically based on some algorithms inside of the bank that it automatically, once it cleared, it was automatically redistributed to like thousands of little, micro accounts so they could steal the money, right? Well, when that happened, they typed in a couple of keystrokes and voila, all the money was yanked back out of all those little accounts. All those IP addresses were tracked and reported, and the money went back into the primary account. So one way or the other, I believe that our money is going to be safe and secure. Is it going to be a standalone privatized account? That is a little bit up for debate for me right now. But, again, once we figure this stuff out, and the other kicker, and I've said it many times, but the other kicker is what I've learned, especially over the last 3 years of being so deep into this stuff, is that nobody actually knows, right? I mean, the people that should know more than everybody else only know more than everybody else about a very specific piece or a segment of this whole process. They don't know everything about everything, and nobody knows. Nobody knows the actual date and time of when this is going to pop, except for possibly a handful of people in the world, right? So, how it's going to work, how redemption is going to work. Are there redemption centers? How much are we going to get for these different currencies? Up until the fact when it happens, that's all speculation, and that's I want people to be prepared mentally to be happy if they walk out of the redemption center with a couple of $1 million in their account as opposed to $100 million. Because again, $1 million is a lot of money. It's more money than anybody's ever had in their account at one time ever, right? So if you have, let's say you only have 10 million instead of 100 million, well, $10 million is a whole lot of money. You can do a whole lot of really good things for a whole lot of people with $10 million, but you can also take that $10 million and turn it into 20 or 40 or 80 in a fairly short period of time, even in our modern world of the stock exchange and things like that. I mean, there's It's called the rule of 78. But if you were diversified in your stock portfolio, approximately every 7 years, your money should double, right? So if you start with $1 million and you're well diversified, 7 to 10 years in the future, you should have 2 million, and then 4, and then 8, and then 16, and then 36 or 32 or whatever that is, right? It just might take a little bit of time to gain huge sums of money. But again, $10 million is more money than any of us have ever had, ever. and in all reality, ever would have, right? I mean, if you worked 30 years making $100,000 a year, I mean, that's only $3 million, and that's if you spent nothing and paid no taxes. You just worked every day, 365 days a year, and saved every penny that you ever made. That you would have 3 million. So I feel it's important for us to be grounded and humble and appreciative, because it's going to be more money. I firmly believe that people are going to have more money than they could ever spend, right? I think it would be really sad if you walked in and you walked out of the exchange with, say, 10 or 15 million dollars in your account, and you're pissed because somebody, some guru somewhere told you were going to get 1 for 1 for your $100 trillion dam, and you thought you were going to walk out with $100 trillion, right? But you got 15 million, right? I don't want people to be angry and upset and sad, because $15 million is a lot of money. You can do a lot of really good things, right? And again, every number I just said is fictitious, right? I'm just using numerical examples, but we just got to be patient.
Amen. There's that word again. Patience, everybody. Patience is a virtue. You got to have it. Okay, here's another one from Go North to Dakota. Question. Years ago, we were told the debt forgiveness. Oh, we were told total debt forgiveness, but now futures are saying we get the interest we paid over the years back, not the principal. I am happy to pay. What do you think, Dallas?
I've heard both. I've heard both recently. I've heard that there is no debt forgiveness. that would cripple the world economy, which I think is garbage. But revolving credit, compounding interest, and hypothecated interest or debt are all illegal, right? I mean, they're illegal according to our Constitution. So if nothing else, income tax, right, is illegal according to our Constitution. Also determined 2 different times by the Supreme Court. So the fact that we all are still forced to pay income taxes it's asinine, because it's been illegal for over 100 years. And the Supreme Court has ruled on it 2 different times, saying that income tax at the very least is mandatory to be voluntary, right? It must be voluntary, but none of us are given an option, right? I'm filling out paperwork right now to go back to work. They're like, I said, I don't want to fill out that form. Well, if you don't fill out that form, we can't hire you. Well, I mean, that's, you try to, you can't argue with them, but you just try to educate them, and they're like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, this is our process. Either fill it out or you don't take the job. I believe we're going to get, at the very least, our income tax back, because that is 100% unconstitutional and fraudulent. But I also know that revolving interest and revolving credit and compounding interest is also illegal. It's called usury, right? They loan you money that they don't physically have, and then charge you interest on that money to get it back and make money off of the money they didn't have to begin with to loan it to you. So are we getting it all back? I don't know. I mean, to me, in the Bible, and I use the Bible as my example, right? When you had Jubilee, then it was a total forgiveness of that year's debt. And then every 70th Jubilee, I think, it was a total wipe, right? Every debt was wiped completely clean, and everybody started over from zero. that's what I believe is going to take place. But at the same time, I don't know that to be a fact, right? It's just what I feel or what I think, based on my reading of the Bible, right? My understanding of the Bible, if that's what we're talking about, and I believe we are talking about a spiritual thing. But if we didn't get our principal back, but we got our interest, well, I mean, our interest. If you buy a $300,000 house, and let's say you have a 5% interest rate, and you pay it over 30 years, well, you end up paying like $250,000 extra for your $300,000 house just in interest. Well, what if you got that $250,000 back, but you still have your house, right? And maybe you still owe, $100,000 on the principal when you got 250 back. Well, then you pay off the house. Now you own it outright, and you still have $150,000 in the bank, right? So, I believe there is debt forgiveness. I believe there's redemption. I just don't know how exactly it's going to play out. But again, when it happens, we're going to figure it out, and then we can talk. Right now, again, it's all speculation, because the people making, I put myself in that category. People making, so why I really hard to defend it.
You're rubber banding, Dallas. You're rubber banding. Can you? Yeah, no, keep talking.
Hello.
Nope.
Hello?
You're rubber banding.
All right. Go out.
You sound robotic. Oh boy. Poor guy. He's having challenges today. Hang in there, buddy. He'll get back on here. All right, try now, Dallas.
All right, can you hear me now?
Much better. Yay!
Yeah, I don't know what happened. A week ago, I did an interview on Teams, and something screwed up my whole system. Like my phone, my computer has been all jacked up since last week. I've tried to delete all the cookies and all that stuff, and it's been really, really, really weird. My phone has been all glitchy, and my phone's not old. It's only like my wife told me we just paid it off, right? So I've had this phone for a year and a half or something. But sorry about that. But I believe there is going to be debt forgiveness. I just don't exactly know how it plays out. And anybody that claims to know exactly how and all these specifics, they're just making it up, and that sucks, right? Because I'm not necessarily calling anybody a liar, but I know what I know, and what I know is that people that I believe to have deep insights into all of this, they come up false positive as much as anybody else, right? So I don't believe anybody has all the answers, and nobody knows all of the ins and outs of how this is going to play out. So we just got to be. I'm not gonna use that word anymore, because I hate
patient.
But, we just have to wait and see. But I believe there is forgiveness. I just don't know how it works, or how complete it's going to be.
Hey, thank you, Dallas. All right, I got 3 more questions here for you, Dallas. Chris Royer, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead. Hopefully I said that right. Go ahead, Chris.
It was close enough. Excuse me. Just a couple quick questions. Dallas, I jumped on late and y'all probably already answered this, but I saw a couple of posts that Frank and Tony were reporting that Iraq RV'd in country, and it was, is imminent or whatever. Just address that if you haven't already. And Jenny, both of you, thank you for all you do, and taking your patience with answering multiple questions over and over and over and over. And Jenny, I was wondering if you'd ever thought ever entered your mind that all these podcasts that you do, when people raise their hands to answer questions, do you ever think that there's bots in there that are just raising hands just to keep the conversation sidelined and shut down the conversation?
You know what? It's funny you say that, because I've been thinking about that, and I actually do know that there are bots in our rooms, our chats, whatever. So yeah, I'm sure they're in my channel. I know, so maybe they are here on the stage as well. I know they come into the X Spaces a lot that I either host, co-host, or I'm a speaker on with, you know, a lot of the speakers because they're controversial, which is good, but they're putting out the truth, right? So yeah, I do know that they're for sure over on the X spaces, and I'm sure they're here as well. So yeah, that's funny you asked that.
Yeah, and God bless you guys. I feel like I've been following this for a long time. Dallas, thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel like we're getting close. Like I said, I've been following this for a long time, and hopefully we're nearly there. And God bless you guys, and have a good day.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I agree. I think we're closer, not to be, sarcastic, but we're closer than we've ever been. Militia Man was on with Mark Z the other morning, and he was like, man, we're seeing things we've never seen. And Militia Man has been, neck deep in this, in specifically Iraq for forever, right? And he's like, and he said, we're seeing things happen in Iraq that we have never seen before. And we kind of always thought that maybe we're important, but now we're seeing them happen. So I'm seeing the same reports. There's all kinds of reports about Vietnam. Vietnam went privately last night, and Iraq's gone privately. Could it be true? 100%. Kuwait went in country for almost a week before it was made public. I don't think there's a chance in Hades that this event happens for 10 days in country without it getting out. I just with the advance in technology and communication, I don't see how that's possible. But could it go for a day or two? Sure, right? I mean, what if it went today and this weekend is when they announce it, right? I mean, so I definitely think it's possible. I have been trying to verify Vietnam and Iraq, and I have not been able to verify it yet, but I definitely think it could be a possibility. Again, I mentioned in the very beginning, I think this would be a really good week for Trump to announce the asset-backed currency for the United States. If that happens, then, Katie, bar the door, buckle your seatbelt because this rocket ship's about to take off. But to my knowledge, we're waiting on Trump to make the asset-backed announcement.
Thank you, Dallas. Thank you, Chris. All right, John, go ahead. Your mic is unmuted.
Hey, Jenny and Dallas. God bless you
Hello.
both. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
we can.
Okay, so my question is kind of back on the humanitarian project stuff. So who do we contact to get that information in our local areas?
To get what information? Like the list
either the list, or if we're going to do our own thing. I mean, are we kind of on our own? I mean, is there? I guess I don't know. I mean, I have some ideas, but I don't know how to facilitate it.
Yeah. My understanding is that we'll be provided a list at the redemption centers of approved humanitarian projects. And there's, I've heard anything from 50 to, a couple pages worth of approved humanitarian projects that we can donate to, right? You're not going to have any ownership or control or day-to-day function. I mean, I guess you could partner up with them and volunteer, or become part of it. But my understanding is you'll have those at the redemption centers. As far as your private humanitarian project,
right?
I've heard two very distinct explanations. One, that at the redemption center, if we have Zim, right, the humanitarian is exclusively tied to the Zim, from my knowledge. They will ask, do you have one? And then you present a 3 to 5 minute, kind of brief overview of what your project is. I don't believe they're going to just stroke you a check right there. Like, well, we'll give you $100 million to go do that, right? But what I do think is if that scenario happens where we're asked at the redemption centers, I believe what they're doing is they're just taking a snapshot of what people are thinking and what their ideas are, because the reality is, what I have learned being in this and talking to so many people all around all across the country and all around the world, is there are like 4 humanitarian projects that almost everybody they have the same idea, right? I mean, it's either homeless, it's either veterans, it's either animals, or just general community involvement, right? And I'm kind of dumbing them down. I'm paraphrasing, but The example I use all the time is if I want to open up a shelter for homeless platypuses, right? And 10 other people in my little town have the same idea. Well, that would be pretty silly for them to give 10 different people that have the exact same idea separate money. It would make way more sense to bring those 10 people together, maximize the knowledge base, the skill base, the ability to actually execute whatever that project is, and say, as the collective, we're going to give you all X amount of money. And this way you can either open one big facility or you can open up multiple facilities, but this way you guys get to work together because you're all trying to do the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And
So
mine was more along, can you hear me? Mine was
yeah.
along the lines of, I'm a plumbing contractor, so I was thinking more clean water. And there's a lot of people that in our area that they don't have good, plumbing stuff.
Yeah. So what I believe is going to happen is clean water is to my knowledge, is on the approved list, right? I mean, cleaning the oceans, clean drinking water. Think about Detroit, right? Or it's not Detroit. What's the Flint, Michigan, right? Their whole water system is contaminated, right? They need clean water. Well, that's already an approved project. So if that is, you can bring some expertise or some knowledge into that pre-approved, then I think they're going to loop you in to a bigger organizational group, right? Now, does that mean that you can't go around and just arbitrarily upgrade your neighbor's plumbing for free or, for virtually no cost, or, you know what I mean? Like, you could do your own thing, but
and I'm doing that now with my own stuff, but at some level it's nice to, I'm also for profit, so you can't do that for very long or you go out of business.
but I believe they're going to, that's why if it happens at the redemption centers, I believe that they're going to do that to try and maximize and streamline the people's efforts, right? Because for about $34 million, you could eliminate homelessness in the entire continental United States. Well, if 10,000 people want to, help with the homeless, well, they're not like, that would be silly to give 10,000 individuals money to go help the homeless. It would be much more practical and much more efficient to say, okay, hey, this is the group that want to work with homeless people in this specific avenue. We're going to bring you all together. We're going to give you all a lump sum and let you organize it and execute it. You know what I mean? To me, that makes way more sense than just arbitrarily giving 10,000 people $100 million and saying, okay, cool, go help the homeless. Well, that's too much money. You know what I mean? Like that's more money than it would take. But it also,
it's a financial issue, but it's also, you got to have the heart and the compassion to want to help.
Well, and beyond that, you have to have the cognitive ability to execute, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I have owned my own businesses since I was literally, I've been an entrepreneurial since I was a young kid. I know what it takes to operate a business, and some, pretty lucrative businesses. Not everybody does, right? I mean, when you're the person making the decisions and writing the checks, like that's a whole different skill set, and not everybody possesses that. That doesn't mean that you can't help, but in my opinion, if I'm giving away money for a humanitarian project and you have zero financial skills or zero management or leadership skills, it would be probably a bad investment for me to just glob a bunch of money on you and say, okay, cool, have fun, right? Like, try not to screw it up.
No pressure.
And that's not me being, derogatory or belittling. I've watched it happen. I've watched it with my own eyes. So I think that there's going to be some checks and balances within the system. The other alternative is that system doesn't exist, right? Like the redemption centers are just about the currency. They're about verifying and processing the currency and getting you in and out. And if that's the case, then I also know, because I'm connected to a bunch of them, there are agricultural groups that have, come together and built, a large group of people that are like-minded and humanitarian based. And those people, those groups are going to have humanitarian funds. So if you have a project, if we can't do it at the Redemption Center because it's too cumbersome and the analytics or not the analytics, the practicality of that is just not feasible, well, then you're then going to be introduced to humanitarian organizations that you can then take your project to, present it, and then be approved because they're going to have excess money purely earmarked for humanitarian projects. And I know that part to be a fact, right? I am directly tied to at least two different organizations that is their mindset. They aggregated their currency so that when they turn it in, they can have this huge bucket of money to then go and then execute humanitarian projects internally with the group first, but then secondarily to people outside of the group, right? So one way or the other, we're going to be able to dramatically help humanity, locally, statewide, nationally, and globally. I just, it's going to happen one way or the other. Just how does?
You're breaking up again, Dallas.
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, I have one more question for you. Mama M, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mama M, your mic is unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say good afternoon, and I wanted to thank both of you for your show and for your, for you looking out for us and for Dallas. I remember setting up my PPN account one night, real late at night, and listening to him and the other two fellas come on. So that's how long it's been for me. But I feel like whatever happens, whatever we get, whatever interest we get back, whatever, we're going to be so happy. We'll be like the Clampets, right? We'll be getting on one of those wheeled wagons and we'll be taking off to somewhere, wherever we're going to go. I always think about that when I watch the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
I'm older. I watched that show when I was a kid, but I just wanted to thank both of you for everything that you've done for us and for the movement and for God. Just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. That's sweet of you. We appreciate you for being here. Because remember, everybody, without you guys, Dallas and I wouldn't be the Revival of America or Dallas from PPN or wherever he's at, on the day. So I want to say thank you to all of the audience members who continue to come and listen to the show, have that want, that will to know the truth. So thank you guys. And with that, Dallas, we're right here at our 90 minutes. We'll see you. We'll see him in 2 weeks, everybody, and that will be his last Wednesday with us, but not last day with the podcast. He'll still be with us. Just got to figure out which time and which day works best for him. So Dallas, let's talk about that. When do you think you'll know a little bit more on that? When you start your job?
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea how it's going to change. But again, I'm still praying that we don't get that far down the road, right? But at the same time, unfortunately, I've got to progress every day as if that's the new reality. But once I get in, that first week is going to be nutso, right? I mean, I'm going to be driving to work for the first time in almost 4 years and figuring out parking. It's a huge complex. I mean, it's I'm not excited, right? I'm excited about having a little money in the bank, but I am not excited about what's about to take place. So, but yeah, let me get into that first week, and then we'll figure it out. Because I got to figure out what happens with my girls, how to balance, because I won't be able to pick her up from school anymore. So where does she go? Does she go to after school? And sports. Luckily, basketball or volleyball is about to end. Then we'll transition into basketball, but Thursday nights are out. Right now they have soccer practice Monday, Tuesday, and Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then volleyball games on Thursday. Then we have soccer games on Saturday, and I have shows during the weekend, usually Saturdays. So we'll figure it out, but I don't plan to go anywhere. We just gotta figure out how to make it work. So
Sounds good. All right, everybody, come back here at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. Not here, Telegram. Go over to my X Space and check us out. We're gonna have Josh from Red Pill TV. We're gonna talk about these lame narratives, bullshit narratives going around. So check us out, and then I come back also too for Silk at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, Dallas. Love you. God bless you. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Have a great day, everybody.